A few weeks ago, I packed my bag and went on a trip to Asia for some epic days of street photography. The island of Phuket is usually not a place you'd consider a great spot for street photography, but you'll be surprised. We ended the last part of the series with flooded streets, which wasn't ideal to say the least. But it was about time for a new street photography adventure. And again, things didn't go as planned. We showed up early before sunrise and there were already a lot of people at the shrine. And by the way, if you're wondering what this event is, make sure to watch part 1 to get more context. Actually, at the shrine I didn't shoot much, it was simply too crowded. So instead, I was chatting with some friends while waiting for the parade to start. Luckily, the streets were dry again, but as you can see in the video, the sky was very dark and the light was less than ideal. Here you can see a Masong with a pretty huge piercing in his face. And just like in the last episode, I won't show it these close up, so don't worry. And this guy needed help from one of his crew members, and that was a good opportunity to show a piercing without actually showing it. Here I used the guy sitting in his pickup truck taking a photo or video on his phone as a foreground element to give the image a little bit more context. And in the background you can see the parade and a Masong with an absolutely incredible piercing through his cheeks. I won't show it close up again, but if you want to see it, hop over to my website. In the blog post you will be able to see it a little bit more up close. Because the light was so gloomy that morning, I called it quits early, and especially because there was another amazing event scheduled for that evening. This year's festival was the 200th anniversary, and because of that, there was a massive parade planned, starting at the seaside and going all the way to Katu Shrine, apparently the oldest shrine in Phuket. The total distance was around 12 kilometers. And as you can see, there were a ton of people along the street watching the parade go by. And you may have noticed that people are mostly dressed in white. That's basically the dress code for the whole festival. And actually I really like that. What made this parade so special was that Masongs from all different shrines in Phuket came together for this one event. Not sure if you can see it in the video, but these Masongs move fast and it's not easy to keep up while also trying to take photos. But it was a challenge I was happy to accept. If you look closely, you can see that the Masongs were walking barefoot. I'm not sure if I'd be willing to do that with all those firecrackers around. Not sure what these roses were for, but then I spotted a Masong doing something really wild and I had to run over to get a shot. Since it was dark and I was shooting at a slow shutter speed, it was difficult to time this kind of shot, but I'm happy with the one I got. A little later, I came across this group of Masongs performing another ritual. They would do this once in a while, stopping for a few seconds and then continuing to walk really fast. Photographing this isn't easy because it happens so quickly and for obvious reasons you can't get really close. While walking, some were cutting their tongues. Even thinking about it is crazy, but from what I've heard, these are not deep cuts and they heal very quickly. Still, personally, of course, I wouldn't do that. But what's really important to understand is that these rituals and these sacrifices are a very important part of the local culture. And for us, it's very easy to judge these acts, but honestly, it's not up to us. At some point, I walked a bit faster to catch up with some friends and also to get ahead of the crowd close to the final destination, Kato Shrine, which is a beautiful location. Since we were ahead of the crowds, suddenly everything was very calm and it looked like this lady took a quick nap in front of her house. And look at that cool beetle in the background. However, as soon as the main parade arrived, all hell broke loose. Firecrackers went off left, right and center. It was absolutely mad. Photographing in that chaos isn't easy, and all the smokes makes it even harder. But if you succeed, you can get some amazing shots. It just takes a bit more effort and a little luck. Then it was time to go to Kato Shrine, which was just around the corner. And look at it, it was wild how many people showed up. And more were still arriving. Outside, they had set up an area where the Masongs could do their ritual to get out of trance. Because it was so busy and very difficult to get good shots, and of course I wanted to try to get to bed a little bit more early, I decided to call it a day for this event. In this case, going to bed early means before 1 AM. By the way, I still had to recharge all my batteries and back up all my photos. And the next morning my alarm was set to 4:30. If you want to learn how to use flash in the streets, check out my video course. It will teach you everything you need to know to get started or to take your skills to the next level. Also, I have a brand new video course coming on January 1st, 2026. In over 3 hours of lessons, I will teach you everything you need to know when it comes to street photography, gear and settings, and how to overcome your fears, basically how to get from zero to hero. The course will be available on January 1st, but you can already pre-order until December 31st for a whopping 50% off. The link will be in the video description and also in the pinned comment under this video. The next morning, we went to a location about 30 minutes drive away. Unfortunately, my friend forgot to bring his remote for his flash, and for some reason we couldn't get it to work on his camera. It just wouldn't fire. So I gave him my trigger and my flash and slapped his Godox V350 on top of my Ricoh GR4, where it worked with no issues. This shrine was very different than the other ones that we visited before. Unfortunately though, we didn't have much time to shoot, so we tried to make the best out of it. They had an area specifically for the female Masongs, and I wanted to give that a try since it was very active there. When I saw all these hands on her head, I figured there might be a shot. In general, this place was a nice change of scenery. A few minutes later, it was time to go outside again and try to find a ride back to Old Town for the parade. We got lucky and hopped onto a pickup truck. The ride back to the Old Town took around 20 minutes, which felt like forever. When we arrived and the parade kicked off, I already had this gut feeling that rain was on the way. Little did I know. Then I spotted this boy taking a nap in a car with the window lowered. That seemed like a great opportunity to make him the subject and the parade the background. The parade continued and the sky got darker and darker. And it was just a matter of minutes before the rain started. And here we go. Just moments later it began. At first it was manageable without any protection, but it quickly became much worse. In this image, you can see a Masong blessing people by throwing a handful of rice at them. This senior Masong endured the rain on the back of a pickup truck during the parade. Only one side of the road was blocked off for the parade, so you had the Masongs on one side and motorbikes passing by on the other. What you can't see in the shot is how much stronger the rain got. I had to pull out an umbrella. Along the road, people were still watching the parade, but seeking shelter under umbrellas they had set up. They were probably expecting the rain. It was cool to see that some Masongs had rain protection that perfectly matched their outfits. Very stylish. This is a great way to shelter from the rain and comfortable at the same time. Even though the rain wasn't fun in the moment, it was a welcome change to get some photos with a completely different vibe. After walking in the rain for about 90 minutes or so, I was totally drenched and called it quits. And actually it continued raining for the rest of the day. To be continued.